Here's another folded card to impossible location that is straight from the Tarbell Book of Magic. The best part is, you don't even need to know how to do a Mercury card fold. I hope you like Michael Boden's instructions on how to make up your very own lightning worm. Let's take a look.
In just a moment, I'm going to ask someone to perform a little bit of magic for me. And just in case you might need a little bit of help, I brought along with me a little helper inside of this can of mixed nuts. Remember, as a child, you would go outside and collect lightning bugs inside of a glass jar? Well, I've captured inside of this can of mixed nuts a lightning worm. Yeah, it's a worm, and it's lightning fast. It doesn't glow like a lightning bug, but it's lightning fast, and it can find your card just in case you happen to have a problem with it. I'm going to ask someone to sign their name to a playing card. I'm going to pre-select it this time because it has a lot of white space on there and it's red in coloration, making the magic marker stand out a little bit more. They sign it however they wish. It doesn't matter what they sign upon the card. Now the object here is for you to find your own nine of hearts. And how you're going to do that is I'm going to lose your nine of hearts back into the pack under the table. Okay, I know it may not seem that fair, sort of under the table, if you know what I mean. But I think if I place it right there, perhaps, no, here. Okay, got it, got it. It's there. You'll never find it now. I'm going to ask you to name a number from 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 1 to 30. Name any number within a pack of 52 cards. I'll count down to that number, and if your card is at that number, we have a magical mystery on our hands. What number did you think of? Name it out loud. 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 cards down. Not your card. Well, that's okay. That would have been a great feat of magic if that had happened. But like I said earlier, not to worry, because I'm going to let the lightning worm get us out of this predicament here. The lightning worm is so fast, when I let him out of the can, don't blink, you'll miss it. He's so fast, he's going to jump out onto the table. He's trained, don't worry. Go across the back of the cards, find your card, pull it out of the deck, and hold the card in its mouth. You ready for this? Here we go. Just like magic. Just like magic, faster than the human eye could see, he found one card, folded it up into fourths or eighths, I believe, has it in his mouth right now for your entertainment pleasure. Could this card possibly be your signed card? Let's see. You'll recognize your signature again, won't you? Upon the nine of hearts. Yes, it is. How about a round of applause for the lightning worm? Yeah, how about that? Thank you for helping. First thing you want to buy is a snake can, the old-fashioned snake can where the snake jumps out of the can. This is a cheap version, a plastic version with mixed nuts. And as you can see with the plastic versions, they've cheapened it up quite a bit, but it'll still work. You can still make this with the good version, which comes in metal, by the way, with the screw-on lid. But with this version, instead of a cloth covering for the snake, it's plastic, and it has a plastic head smiley face attached to the top of it and a squeaker on the inside. First thing you want to do is get rid of that plastic head. So take your pliers, your needle nose pliers, and start to chip away at that. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and the entire plastic top will pop off. You're going to find out that underneath the plastic head is a squeaker, and the squeaker very easily can be popped out also. On the better versions with the metal can and with the screw-on lid, you don't have the plastic top or the squeaker, and they usually still come with cloth covering on the spring. Like I said, this is a cheap way to make one up, and if you like what it does, then you can make up a good one later on. I've just taken out the squeaker, and now to just get rid of the rest of the plastic top. Just a little bit of patience, and eventually it does come off. Okay, just almost there. There it is. Now on the inside, there's going to be a black disc which you can get rid of because you're not going to be needing that whatsoever. So you can just throw that black disc away. Next, what you want to do is sort of reseal the bottom of the paper where it's been torn open. So you simply pull it down, tuck it up inside the spring a little bit, and then take some tape. This is carton sealing tape. It's a little bit stronger than Scotch tape. All you do is tear off a piece and cover the bottom. Then you proceed to slit the edges of the tape with a pair of scissors so you can fold the edges down and around the bottom of the spring to sort of close up that opening at the bottom. Not a difficult process, but it does take a little bit of time if you want to do a good job. Simply reseal the bottom all the way around. And that's pretty much it for dealing with the bottom of the plastic paper. Next, take a piece of Velcro. You're going to be needing a couple pieces of Velcro, so just take 2 strips and cut them in half, and you should have enough for what you need to do. You want to take 1 piece of Velcro and fasten it to the bottom of the spring, because eventually this piece of Velcro is going down inside of the can and making contact with another piece of Velcro, so that when the snake jumps out of the can, it won't pop out and up into the air. There's another piece of Velcro, or the other piece is actually going to be going down inside of the can. We'll show you that a little bit later on. Next, take a needle and you want to punch a whole bunch, poke a lot of holes in the plastic to create air holes, because this will make the spring pop up a lot faster. So just poke air holes all the way through the entire portion of the snake's body, or the worm's body. Now here's a few other things you're going to need. I like to point out that the monofilament that I'm using is a 123 millimeter monofilament. It's very thin. I buy that at a craft store. They actually call it invisible thread, I believe, but obviously you can see it's just a very fine monofilament. And you thread that thread all the way up through the body of the worm, and you wrap it off around the bottom and wrap it off with a rubber band, and so that everything is held in place, but you can take it apart later on if you want. As you see, because the monofilament goes up on the inside and out the top, and the top is attached with a button, you'll see the monofilament, as you squeeze the worm, the monofilament will pop out and go into place as you need it to be for later on. A little bit about the can right now. Just cut a small notch in the can so that whenever you screw the lid on, or in this case simply twist the lid on, there's a place for the monofilament to ride through that slit so it doesn't get caught upon the lid. Now this can actually be done very easily with a metal can also. You just have to take a file and file everything down so it's not sharp. So much for that. Now what you're about to see now is the inside of the can. There's a piece of Velcro, if you can see it in there. And the reason why that Velcro is there is because you need to make this little gimmick up. This is basically just a spacer for the inside of the can. It's just a bolt and a nut that's been hot glued to a washer, and I put a piece of Velcro on top and a piece of Velcro on the bottom of the bolt also, so that when you drop the bolt in it sticks to the Velcro on the inside of the can, and it also weights the can down, so whenever the snake pops out, the can won't fall over. And of course, the Velcro on the bottom of the worm or the snake attaches to the Velcro on top of the fender washer. Now, the reason for the washer comes up about 2/3 of the way up inside the can, and the reason is it's just a spacer so that when the worm is collapsed, the monofilament has a lot of length to it as it pulls out because it has to hang beneath the table. So you really do need to put a spacer inside the can. You can even use aluminum foil if you don't want to use a metal washer and a nut and bolt and all that. Just aluminum foil stuck inside the can will work also, just to fill up that space. But I use the washer and the bolt because it weights the can down. Now, as you can see, everything is easily taken apart also. If you have to make any adjustments later on, everything pops out of the can and the worm pops off of the washer. A little bit of blue tack is needed for the nose of the worm. And again, on the snake, you could put eyes on it by putting little pom-poms on each side. Each side of the worm could have little eyes glued to it if you wanted to. I just didn't do it for this prototype mock-up model I put together. And it simply goes together just like that. Everything pushes down inside of the can. The monofilament is gently pulled out so it doesn't tangle. And then the monofilament is going to ride through that slit in the can, and the lid gets snapped on. It's just that easy. As you can see, the monofilament with the button and the blue tack hangs below the table, approximately about 4 inches. Making it easy to press a playing card or even a business card or whatever you might want to produce from the can, easy to attach it to that button that's hanging down, because when you open the can, the snake jumps out and voila, the card is there. This is the setup for the entire routine. You simply push the snake down or the worm down into the can, pull the monofilament out just like before, making sure it goes through the slit, pop the lid on, and that's pretty much it for the setup. You always want to make sure that you set the can near the edge of the table. Here I am pulling the monofilament out as far as I possibly can because I want it to hang below the table as far as I possibly can. Now I'm all set and ready to go. Nothing more to do than to have a spectator select a playing card. Oh, by the way, if you pick up the can, it's very easily hidden, that button. You can pull it right into your hand like that. So you can pick the can up and actually show it away from the edge of the table if you want. Very easily to put back into place. Now our playing card is selected and signed. I still like to use what I call the turtle card fold. It's just basically scoring the card in both directions, not just one, but in both directions. I score it 3 times from top to bottom and only once from side to side. This basically allows me to fold the card into fourths very cleanly, very quickly, and in this particular routine I like to fold the card one last time into eighths because it makes the card look even smaller when it pops out of that can. So the spectator signs the card. You tell them, I'm going to lose the card into the deck of cards so that you don't know where it is, and so that you don't see where I put it, I'm going to place it under the table. That's right, under the table. And as you do this, you simply fold the card into fourths, give it one last squeeze into eighths. I like to curl the card a little bit. It keeps the card folded. I make a little sound with by riffling the deck also, as if I'm doing something underneath. And I simply come over and press the folded up playing card to the button right to the blue tack. And it sticks there very, very easily. Then I come up and say, I've done my deed. I've lost your card into the pack someplace. It's in there somewhere. Spectator names a number from 1 to 52. You then proceed to count down to the number that they named and show that their card is not there. You then show your hands empty very cleanly before you take the lid off of the can, being sure not to entangle the monofilament with your thumb because this has to flip up to the top of the worm as the lid is removed. And just like magic, you've just found their card. And they have just witnessed a signed card to a very impossible location.